Okay, guys, so welcome to the December 13th call. We have an incredible guest speaker. Danny Whitten is with us. She built herself to diamond in oh gosh, probably about 3 months, maybe just under 3 months. She already has an incredible team that's hitting goals, building and rank themselves. She's been doing amazing with Success Club points. She's had, 20 to 30 points every month for the past couple months. And so I definitely wanted to get her on here to call. She has lots of advice to share, experience from what she's learned just in the last few months. And when you're speaking to as many people as she is, there's a lot of experience there. And so I wanted to have her speak just for a second. I wanted to take a second and congratulate Danny and Sarah both for hitting Success Club 5 already this month. Congratulations, ladies. Before the 15th of the month, you guys hit it. So bam, booyah. And then there are so many of you guys on the board already in December, which is pretty incredible because, guys, I'm telling you, 12 more days, and then the floodgates open. So just get ready. This is going to be an incredible month. Next month's going to blow your minds. Then February is going to be awesome. And then March, we have a new launch. So it's just going to keep going. Just keep building the momentum now, and it's just going to keep going. So without further ado, I'm going to let Danny take it over. I'm going to unmute you. Just give me half a second to do so. Unmute. All right,
Okay.
We've already recorded, so you can take over.
Thanks, Lisa. Am I too loud, Nod, or can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, well, first, thanks, Lisa, for letting me do this. I'm really excited about it, and it's a big deal that you think that I should be doing this. And thanks for all the nice words you said about all that other stuff. But I do want to echo that I'm really proud of my team. There's a bunch of them on the call right now, and you guys are doing awesome. So I just, high five, Blueprint 31. I love you guys. But before I get into the topic of the night, which is the Me Too factor, I wanted to share with you guys just a little bit about myself. It's weird because I'm just staring at Lisa, so I'm going to change it to the gallery view. There we go. That helps a little bit. Hey, everybody. I got started doing 21 Day Fix with Lisa as my coach back in August. Before that, though, I had been looking at 21 Day Fix for about 9 months. Is that right, Lisa? She's eating dinner. She's don't talk to me now. But I had kept saying no for 9 months. And then some really bad stuff took place where my mom, who's just in her 60s, who's an insulin diabetic, was diagnosed being blind in one eye, and then a third of her kidneys are functioning, all because of food. And I had been a gestational diabetic with my son, and my doctor told me that if I didn't do some serious changing, that I would be an insulin-dependent diabetic just like my mom. And so, that obviously had me thinking about it, but I was still on the fence about a lot of things. When we got our pictures taken for my son turning 6 months, and it was right around the beginning of July, and so we did a 4th of July theme, and it was super cute. It was on the beach. But when we got our pictures back, the photographer who had taken these photos decided that it was in my best interest to go ahead and Photoshop me, because apparently I was so fat and so ugly that he needed to make me skinnier before he handed me a photo of myself. And so I did what every normal female would do. I broke down into lots of tears and cried for 3 days. And that's when I saw a post about the coaching opportunity with Lisa, and I gave her a call. I messaged her and we got started, and that's how I got started. I wanted to share that with you guys just because what I'm talking to you about tonight is sharing your life with people. And I don't know you guys personally. I'm friends with some of you on Facebook. But I'm the type of person, I was raised by a very gregarious mother. I have a gregarious personality. I don't know how to be a stranger in a room. It's my personal opinion that it is sin if you're standing 10 feet away from someone and you don't know their name. Like, you should know their name and you should know about them. And part of that is my personality, but part of that was because my mom, who's, I want to thank her for that. She would embarrass me constantly growing up when we would be like in a grocery line at the store, and she would turn around and become best friends with the people around her. And she would just know them instantly. And she taught me the value of getting to know people. And Lisa's right. I've been hitting SC super early in the month, but then hit racking up points. And I'm not here to like toot a horn, but I want to explain why this is important to like all these stories. Last month I was SC20, my account. My husband was SC6. The month before, I think I was SC28. Since I've gotten started, I've racked up a total of 70 SC points, and that's within 3 months or something like that, or I guess 4 now. And I want to just emphasize that the reason that I think that I'm doing well isn't because I'm doing anything super different from you guys. I'm just using the Me Too factor. I'm following up the way that you're following up. I'm, cold calling, I'm messaging, I'm posting 3 times a day. But I think that the thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the filter that you use when you post. So we're going to kind of focus just on social media right now in the coaching realm. And when you're talking to people about your, not just fitness and not just your coaching them, but your whole life. Which, some of you might be turned off by that. But again, I think that's why I'm doing so well. Let me go ahead and I'm going to do some screen sharing here. So I made a little, because I felt like you should do that, made a little, this thing. There we go. Me too. That's what we're talking about tonight. Let's do this. There we go. All right. The first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is when you're posting, when you're doing your 3 posts a day, you need to tell your story. You need to share about you, like what makes you different, what makes you unique. Because here's the thing, anybody can go on to Amazon and buy, a lot of these Beachbody programs. They can get them from anybody else. So why should they have you as their coach? You're different. You're different than I am. You have a different story. You didn't grow up the way that I grew up. But the thing is that when you share that story on a regular basis inside of your posts, inside of your social media, people will be attracted to you because somewhere deep inside of them, they'll go, oh, me too. I shared this thing with, Lisa. I shared this thing with Naomi. I'm like her in this way. And so you need to tell your story. You need to explain what makes you different, what makes you unique, because that will go a long way with people. And the way that they do that is it makes people buy into your story. When people are looking at me as a coach, I don't want them, I want them to know they're getting all of me. Does that make any sense, to you guys? I want them to know that they're getting my full attention, that they're getting, my expertise. And not that I'm an expert on anything, but what I do know, I'm going to share with them. And so, you want people to buy into your story. And so when you are posting throughout the day, I want, what I try to do is I try to make people, I want to share so openly. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked because I'm trying to explain it and articulate it the right way. But I want to share so openly that people are able to see themselves in me. I want them to be able to identify with the things that I'm sharing. Sometimes I've even gotten in trouble with my husband for sharing so honestly and so openly about different things in our life. The reason that I do that is because I know that people are holding their cards close to them. Naturally we protect ourselves. All of us who've been alive for 2 seconds have gotten hurt by others. And so we put up walls around our hearts and our lives, and we don't share the things that are important to us. I've decided I'm going to let that come down because there are people who are unhealthy and need, my coaching. They need to get healthy. They need to get on track, but they're too scared to share their stuff. So I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to talk about my life, about being a mom. I'm going to talk about being a wife so that they can see themselves in me. so that helps them. But what that's going to do is it's going to have them invest in you. They're going to be watching you. I've noticed people have just been watching me for the last 3 months because I've been sharing so openly. And so when you do that, you invite people to watch you, and you want them watching you. You want them invested in you. You want them endeared to you because you become the point of focus, the point of attention, as they're considering getting healthy. So 2 things are going to happen when you do that. One, again, they're going to watch you. And again, you want them watching you. At the very beginning, like the first post I ever made, I said, please watch me. I said, please pay attention to me. Please keep me accountable. And, as I'm posting about what life looks like as a mom who works at home, who, we're in ministry, about even my mom, I share about her because she's sick and we help take care of her, about, what I cook, what I'm doing. People are paying attention. You want to invite them to watch you. And the thing is, if you're a positive example, you'll start to see people look up to you as well. And that's really powerful. A few weeks ago, we were on a team call, and Lindsay Matway shared about the resolution effect. And she said, you guys need to be a Yelp. She talked about like sharing, if you find a product that you really enjoy, talking about it. And so I kind of was like, okay, I need to do that. That felt kind of unnatural to me. But what I've noticed was that I tend to do that about life. I try to set an example for people in all things. And I know that kind of seems, I don't pretend like I'm perfect at anything. I want to show people that I'm a work in progress all the way through. Again, I'm trying to be vulnerable so that they can see themselves being a work in progress too. But I want to be a Yelp about life. I want to share my life with people so openly, again, that they're able to look at me and say, me too. I do that too. And so, people will start to look up to you. I don't know why, but that has happened over and over and over again in my life. People look up to me and they go, well, what would you do in this situation? About so many things. And it has transferred over, as I'm sharing about my kids, I'm sharing about my marriage, I'm sharing about our jobs, and our house buying and all these things. People start to invest in me and to look up to me, as I'm setting that example. And then when I'm talking about my fitness, it's just so natural for that transition to take place where they go, well, what would you do in this situation? And so, you want people to kind of look up to you and as you're setting that example, and that's when they'll say, me too. That's the second thing that will happen as you share your story, as you share openly, as you're vulnerable, as, you kind of let down your guard and let people in, you're going to notice that people watch you. And that's when they get to say, me too. And I put, you want them to say me too about, all of your posts, you guys should be posting at least 3 times a day. Hopefully some of you are doing that more. One of them is supposed to be about Beachbody. That's what Lisa told me. So that's what I try to do. But I try to post about everything. And I used this example recently where I posted about Christmas candles because I was burning them in August, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Christmas candles. They just make me so happy. They smell good. And I post that, and like 50 people are like, oh, me too. I can't wait for Christmas. And so, somewhere in their head, they're thinking, Danny and I are friends, because we both like Christmas candles. And so, they connected themselves to me because I did that. Lisa posts about being cold. I see people constantly go, I hate being cold too. And, so you post about these things and you want to be open and, but those are kind of fun and not heavy. And you want to make sure that, your Facebook or whatever you're using is not like a place for just drama. But I also try to share the things that are a little bit deeper and a little bit scarier. And it's those posts that really, really keep people's attention. It's those posts that really attract them to me and keep them or keep me in their view. I think of a post recently that I made about being stuck in traffic, and it's dark and raining and the light is literally green, and all I see are a bunch of red traffic lights or brake lights in my face, and I'm starting to get frustrated and angry when my 3-year-old who's sitting in the back looks out and she goes, Mom, look, Christmas lights. And that hit me. I spent the whole rest of the way home kicking myself and talking, thinking about perspective and how, I need to be thankful about things and have that mentality. And you know what? I posted that, and that really got a hold of a bunch of people, and they started, watching me all the more and getting invested in me because I'm sharing these aspects of my life. And so, you want them to say me too. And what's going to happen is that's going to transfer over. They're going to say me too as you talk about your health, you talk about your fitness, people will trust you. That's what happens. You post about candles and they go, oh, I like candles too. They trust you. They think we're friends. They make that connection with you. You talk about the scary things about being a mom when your kid's sick and you don't know how to take care of them and you're worried about it. Those moms are going, man, me too. That's me. When you turn around and you start sharing the vulnerable stuff about how you don't feel comfortable in your skin, and you're overweight, or you don't feel sexy anymore, when you're brave enough to do that and let them look at you, and they're going to say me too, and that's when they're going to contact you and say, how in the world do I get started doing this? How do I do this with you? I think that was that's the end of my little slideshow, but I have other things that I want to talk to you guys about. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can look at your faces one more time, make sure everyone's still there. Okay, no one's bored yet? Okay, perfect. I said that in faith and confidence. Something that this has really helped me to do that I'm not saying that anyone else does this, but something that I really try not to do is be a walking commercial. I don't think that, well, let me say this. When you are using the Me Too factor, when you're living your life vulnerably, when you're opening up and people feel connected to you, they feel like they can be your friend, they're going to be more willing to trust personal stuff with you, like weight loss and getting healthy. As January is approaching and that New Year's resolution is about to happen, people are going to be looking for something to do in January. They're going to be, setting those goals, and they're going to be looking for someone to help them, and it's going to be either a gym or, hopefully it's you that they're looking to. The thing is, I've noticed that when I'm close friends with someone, I'm going to go and check out and see what the heck their opinion is first before what the commercial tells me to do on TV. And so I don't try to be a commercial in my posts, and that's where I do the Me Too factor. I want it to be personable. I want it to be relational. I want people to trust me because, again, my weight loss and my issues, they were super personal. I didn't want to blast that all over the place. I didn't want to share that with just anybody. And I noticed that people want to, they're not going to get personal. They're not going to get nitty gritty about their health and how they feel about themselves with a commercial. They're going to with a friend. And so that's the Me Too factor, that your posts create such vulnerability that people are able to connect to you and trust you, so that they do feel comfortable. They feel confident with, sharing with you their, their goals, their I don't know, the stuff they're all embarrassed about, the stuff that I'm embarrassed about, that, that I'm sharing on purpose so that they don't have to. Let me see. There was a quote by C.S. Lewis, sorry, that I thought was really cool. And I heard it years ago, and I've actually kind of just sort of tried to apply it to my life, but it's run over into, my business, is that friendship is born the moment that one man says to another, what, you too? I thought I was the only one. And, guys, these women, most of the people that I'm coaching are women. Is that true for everybody else out there? Okay, good. They are just like you. And you're just like them. What we need to do is to kind of set that example, and we need to be brave enough to share our lives a little bit more openly. And so I don't have homework for anybody, I guess, per se. I don't know if that's I feel like that's something that we usually do, is have little homework assignments. But what I would say is go back over your Facebook, and if all of your Facebooks are invites and they're super cute and they're super flashy, maybe consider throwing out something that makes someone feel something this week. If you, I get people asking me all the time, what they can do different. And that is it. I'm make someone feel something. When you're posting, make them feel happy, make them feel sad, make them want to be like you, but make them feel something. You know, I love selfies and I think they're super cute. The thumbs up or the, you know, the flashy little like Shakeology pictures. We need to do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like you need to draw people in on a regular basis and make them feel. This is dumb and forgive me, but this is practical. I try to use descriptive words that will make an image in someone's mind and also kind of ring in with their heart. And so, you know, if you're not a super wordy person, that's okay too. The goal is you're being genuine and honest, regardless of your personality type, but try to be honest, I guess. And when you're expressing your heart, you're expressing yourself, use descriptive words, try to create an image, try to create an emotion in all of your posts. And then, and I guess the last thing I was going to say is that if you're not already my friend on Facebook, go ahead and friend me. And again, I'm not expert at this, but I feel like I'm worried about my ability to actually articulate what I'm doing here. And so go back and maybe reread some of those posts. And just that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I did tell Lisa that I was going to try to keep some room open so that like you guys can ask questions if you have any I've had some of you guys message me and go, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not sure how to answer that exactly. So is it okay to unmute people now? Is that something that we can do?
Yeah, so just really quick, I wanted to mention this. One of the things that I really love about Danny and the reason why I wanted her to share is not only has she been like wildly successful over the last few months, but also I saw these qualities in Danny like well before she became a coach. I don't remember how long ago. It was probably like a year ago. And I don't know that Danny even remembers posting this, but she posted something about how life isn't always glamorous. Sometimes as a pastor's wife, you know, we like try to portray our children in a certain light, and you see them at church and they're always cute and dressed up and like behaving relatively nicely, you know, but you don't see the temper tantrums and meltdowns that they have that every child has. And she showed a video of Grace just like letting loose. And she's like, this is bedtime tonight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, I remember that because that was traumatizing for all of us.
And honestly, like so many people commented on it and they're like, yeah, me too. I'm so glad you posted this. Oh my gosh, this happens every night. Da, 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 da. And I remember thinking like, I mean, I've known Danny since I was like 10 years old. So I remember thinking that's the Danny I know. Like we were best friends in fifth and sixth grade. And so when she talks about her mom, it just makes me smile because I spent many nights over at their house. And so that was one of the things that I remember. I was like, this is the Danny I remember. Like she's exactly how I remember as a kid because she was always open, honest, and kind of blunt about things. Like this is how things should be. And that's one thing that I've said over and over and over is I want you to speak your story, like share it openly and honestly. And so I may have kept it after Danny for, nearly a year about joining a challenge group. But where I fell, where I lacked was I should have been asking her to be a coach. Like that's where it kind of hooked her. Not only did all those other things happen, but like I never even presented her the opportunity except for a blanket post out there she happened to see. And then she reached out to me. And so that was like my failing, my shortcoming. But I noticed that in her like so long ago. I was like, man, if she would become a coach, she'd be awesome because everybody's like, yeah, me too. And she shares everything openly and honestly, but yet in a not super negative light, you know? And so that's just something that I've noticed that she's really excelled at. And so I wanted to kind of chime that in a little bit. If you guys want to unmute or if you have questions and you want to type them in, I know Stacy's like doing her grocery shopping or something. I don't know. And so she's always doing something.
She's busy.
She is.
So, she's
a mom of 4. So.
Oh, well. I'm sorry again if, any of that was gibberish to anybody. I think just the bottom line is share your story you're unique, you're different. You need to, like, my story's not your story, and you're going to attract your people. They're going to, there's people just like you who are going to look into your life and see themselves, as long as we're brave enough to open up about that. Like, you don't have to have it all together. People don't want you to have it all together. Lisa, what you were talking about is I started a hashtag because I just thought it was stupid and cute. And I had so much of my life that I was like, I wish I could tell the world about this, because am I the only one this happens to? Like, one day my pants were on backwards and I was flipping, walking around. I know it's ridiculous, but I had my pants on backwards. And I was like, how the heck did I do that? All day. My husband comes home and he goes, your pants are on backwards, just like that. And I was like, frick. And so, like, I post about it. Like, I was like, I'm just going to do that. And I was like, hashtag real life confession. My pants have been on backwards all day. And so, that like attracted, I know you're all like laughing at me now, but that attracted people to watch me. And it was just me trying to share openly, because I kind of got sick and tired of all the perfect faces on Facebook. I got sick and tired of like us all trying to, show the highlight reel. And so if you just do that, like, I'm not saying push yourself out of your comfort zone. We're supposed to do that anyway, I guess. Mm-hmm. And just share. And, people are going to see themselves in you, and that's going to attract an audience that you didn't have before. And the thing too, that we all come from like different walks of life. Some of us are a little bit older. Some of us have small kids. Some of us are, we work outside of the house. Some of us work in the house. We need to talk about all that stuff, because you're going to relate to all these people who need to see these fitness programs working inside their lives, and they will when they see it working inside your life. And so anyway, if you guys, there was other questions that I got about, not right now. Like, some of you have prompted questions to me before, so it doesn't have to necessarily be just about the Me Too factor. If I'm not, Lisa knows more stuff than I do, but I can offer you what I know. So if anybody has any other questions.
Kind of, just like you were talking about with the beauty of each person has a different story. Like, I may be around longer, and so sure, I've seen things. Naomi, you don't have to raise your hand, girl. And so you may have been, like, I may have been around for a year and a half now, but that means that I know the back history. Like, other than that, I mean, we all have different stories. We all have different ways of doing things. And that's kind of the cool part of being a family, being a team, is that we get to learn from each other, and everybody brings something different to the table. And we get to, enjoy the benefits and fruits of all those talents. So Naomi, go ahead and unmute yourself, girl.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Can you kind of share, I know you and I have already talked about this, but kind of share what the next step is after people like all your posts and they comment on it, then what?
Okay, so something that Lisa kind of set the example in is something that I try to do is I don't invite people to join me on a challenge group or in fitness, anything, every single time I post. What I like to do, like my big thing that I do, is I like to share victories. And I like to share, how these things work inside our lives. And so when people start liking it and saying, me too, I kind of let that junk accumulate. Okay. I will let them like it all day long. All right. I will comment on every single thing that someone says so that it jumps back at the top of Facebook. Okay. Cause that's what I use. And so when, someone comments on it, I'll say thank you, because that pushes it right up to the top to be seen again. All day long, I'm letting this happen. I will let that run for like a day and a half, and then I will go back and I will private message, not like, I don't know, if it's their first time liking something, I won't do that, but I will private message the majority of all those people. That's my next step. I will sit there and have like hey, thanks for liking my stuff. You're awesome. And that's so encouraging. Hey, are you interested in doing this with me? And I can't tell you how many people have said, actually, yes, I am. And that's why they're liking it, because they are interested in it. And so, that's a big part of it. And what I've noticed is, a lot of the times people say yes, a lot of the time they say no. We all get no's. We're in the 100 no challenge by the end of the year. I'm doing that. And so the thing is that I've noticed is that a lot of these no's that happen, my inviting them and them saying no to me was the beginning of an invitation to watch me. Mm-hmm. Like, if they weren't paying attention before, they're paying attention now because they said no to me. So it's in their head, like they're watching. I've had so many people come back a month later and say, just kidding, let me do that. And so that's the next step. Like as people are liking and stuff, I will go back and I will personally invite them, because it's a lot harder to say no to you to your face than it is to a giant, you know, open post saying, if you want to do this, comment message. And actually when I write, you know, comment or like message me, or you like an actual invite, that thing will get like 2 likes. I get so mad. I'm like, really? Because that was a really great post. Thank you for my 2 likes. And then I'm mad at all of you guys. I'm like, you could at least liked it. And so,
I was 1 like. Don't worry, I was 1 like, because I like pretty much everybody's posts.
You really do though. Have you seen that meme where it was like, you say you're my friend, but where were you when my selfie had 2 likes? You know, that thing. And so anyway, I try to just, that's the Me Too factor in that too. I post stuff and I go, look, watch this. And so that they can kind of comment and like on it on their own. And then I go and personally talk to them about, you know, where they are. And that's part of forming, you know, we talk about forming relationships with people, you know, they might say no, but then I get the opportunity to actually open up that conversation with them. And I think Naomi did that. Like we talked about that and she did it, and she like messaged 50 people one day, but you hit like SC10 or SC8, like in that week. That's what you did when you did that. And so, you know, it's, I don't know, again, being personal and letting them say me too, it works.
Yep. I wanted to speak to Rachel really fast. That post that I did about your transformation a couple weeks ago, that girl had like 200 and something likes. It's insane. And so, and a ton of comments, like nearly 100 comments. And so that's what happened to me in my very first transformation photo. And I hit SCU 14 in like a week. And so I would highly suggest you go back and start talking to some of those people. I know you've been talking to some of them, but, and then I did want to add in, Danny was talking about how people don't relate to perfect. And it's so true. Like sharing your progress and where you're at. People all the time will tell me, and it drives me crazy when I'm inviting them to the coaching opportunity. They're like, yeah, well, I want to get some results photos first. And da-da-da. And I'm like, no. Share your journey. When you share your journey, that's what people relate to. People can relate when you share your journey, you share your story, you share all those things openly and honestly. And then, you know, share the setbacks too. Like you were saying, like, sometimes we post things that are light, about, you know, cold, or like yesterday I got to wear flip-flops and that was the best thing in the world in December up here to get to wear flip-flops. And those things, like, people can say me too, but at the same time, it helps kind of build that affinity in Facebook. I know it may be light, it has nothing to do with fitness, but it helps them, 1, connect to you, even in something dumb, but 2, build affinity. And if people are commenting on your post, you need to be responding every time. Just like David said, like there's an algorithm in Facebook, and if you're not like liking their post and then commenting back, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Like let each post, basically it's like free marketing. Let each post be something that's self-perpetuating to more and more people. Because the more people that comment on it, more of their friends will see it. Like it just keeps going as long as everybody's commenting on it. And they don't know, Facebook doesn't know whether it's you or someone else, if that makes sense. So even if a post dies and I'm like, that's a really good post, and it was like 2 days ago, I'll go back and like it. And then all of a sudden somebody else will see it and like it. And then people start commenting on it again. So
if there are people who have been liking your stuff too, something that that I didn't say that I should is I also will go back and like just talk to them on their stuff. People like it when you like their things, and they like it when you comment on their things, and they feel important, and that helps them feel really like you are their friend when they're saying me too. You know, oh, I like Christmas candles too. And then you go and you see their picture of their cute little dog and you say, that dog is the cutest dog in the world. They go, yeah, it is. And then you guys are closer friends at that point. And so, you know, they're, you know, you're building a relationship, but they're paying, you know, more attention to you. And so, you know, I don't know, it's strategic, but that's what this is.
So true. I do the same thing. I go through and I have a friends list in Excel where I like literally go down the line and I make sure I'm like liking things, commenting on things, just to help build that rapport and that affinity. Because even though you're posting every day, not everybody's seeing that post unless you guys are like continually talking back and forth. So if there's somebody you've been friends with on Facebook for 4 years and you haven't really been talking to them, they're not seeing your post and you're not seeing their posts. It's just the way Facebook, they know. They're like, oh, they're not really interested in what this person has to say, so I just won't show it. So you have to make the intentional jump to like go back, search that person out, look through their page, and then that's a good time to also like jump into a relationship building conversation. You know, you can look through their posts. I kind of like go through a couple scrolls and find a couple things that I like them, comment on them if I have something to say, and then I'll write them a quick message. This is like my, I don't know which tracker you guys do, but when I do the Revitalize daily tracker, it says reconnect with 3 existing friends. And I will like, this is my reconnect time. Like I'll go back through all those people and then I'll send them a quick message and say something like, hey, it's been so long since we've chatted. What are you up to? I haven't seen you since whenever you saw them last. You know, for me, a lot of them, it's like, I haven't seen you since we were in El Salvador together. What are you up to now? Like, what's going on with life? And then that'll prompt them a lot of times, if they haven't seen your stuff in a while, to go back to your page. So make sure your page is up to par. Like your posts are good. You're not posting like, I don't know, weird things or letting people tag you in weird things. And so just make sure that if you're doing that, that your page is up to par too, because they're going to go back and be like, what? I haven't talked to this girl in forever. What's she doing? Like, do I want to talk to her? You know, before they reply. So any questions for Danny, for myself, about anything? Danny, one of my favorite things about the real life confessions was that you wrote one that said,
when I drank alcohol when I was pregnant accidentally.
no, but that's pretty funny. No, my favorite one was, I don't like your inspirational quotes, and I know.
Yes.
And I was like, me too. I hate them. I just scroll right by them. And then like 2 months later, I became a coach and started posting them. I'm like, I know Danny. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, I know Danny hates this. Like, she's going to be so inspired by this.
Oh, that you did. You tagged me in one, and that was a lot of fun. I remember that. It made me laugh out loud.
But I literally thought about it almost every time I did that.
I still won't like post inspirational posts. I can't do it.
I just can't do it. But any other questions? I'm going to stop the recording now.